Hello, Hearts fans. Thanks for joining us today in lovely Portland, Maine. It's a beautiful day. The boys are here, myself and Mitchell and Sean. We're here with Phil from the USL Show, and you got to get your first taste of the Hearts of Pine in Portland last night at a game that didn't mean much for the season or even the Jaeger Cup it's part of, because both teams technically are eliminated, but you see how we still bring the energy, even in that situation.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks you guys for having me. Portland has a little bit of, they have some cheat codes, this being one of them. You guys being able to film in a location like this is ridiculous. USL Show happens in our collective offices.
Yeah, they built this for us today.
Yeah. No, this is, it's been just a wonderful time being able to kind of get to know this city. It's my first time in Maine, first time in Portland.
Welcome.
I've kind of fallen head over heels. I can't lie. Food here is amazing. Obviously the views, weather's been super nice, and got to see some wonderful soccer last night, and a very cool result, if not like a super meaningful one in terms of actual the standings or the Jaeger Cup, but I would say meaningful for Hearts in that, you know, going toe to toe against a good Pittsburgh team, coming away with a win on pens, even with down to 10 men for an hour. There's a lot that you guys can take from that, and with the momentum that you built, it did feel like a pretty significant result, even if it wasn't technically significant in the cup.
It's significant for us as a club, don't you think, Mitchell? I mean, every game is significant for us. We've had, I think that's our 7th home match, maybe 6th. I have to nail that down. But every game at home is a chance to come out and support these players, and you can feel that around the stadium and increase the bond between us and the players, which is getting more special every game.
Yeah, it was really crazy to see from an outside perspective, because I mean, I've seen a handful of games like across USL. I've been to a lot of different clubs. I've was around at the founding of El Paso Locomotive. Like, I've seen how different ownership groups move and stuff like that. And something that's just been really spectacular about Hearts is, and I think you could feel it last night, you can see it at these home games, is there is like kind of total alignment up and down the organization, and that's from like the very top of the ownership group down to the fans. Like, it's not just in the club there's alignment, there's just the whole club is totally aligned, from the people in the stands to the people on the pitch to the people in the front office, and that is unique. That is not something that you typically see. Like, typically the goals are sort of different, where ownership kind of has like what they want to do, the, you know, management staff and technical staff, like, they have what they want to do, the players have what they want to do, and the fans have what they want to do, and it all feels really on the same page, and that is like something that is really special. I'm not just trying to gas you up because you took me to a very nice location.
Keep it coming. I love it.
But it is I think we talked about it last night on the show, but it was it is a really like special thing you guys have brewing here, and so yeah, just very happy to be able to witness it last night.
Yeah, so I think, you know, just kind of a little bit of the foundation of kind of what Phil's referring to, and, you know, everyone gets to see kind of the fruits of the labor and the hard work of the years of building this thing up, the slow build, if you will, those 4 or 5 years that we've talked about in the past, right? And you know, now the nation and even the world is starting to see the fruits of that hard labor, and then those conversations and making sure that we are all on the same page, and the ownership taking into account all the fans and would-be supporters when we actually do start playing the season like we did this year, and what their thoughts and ideas are of what soccer looks like and what they want to experience inside the grounds. And I think that is why we're seeing what we're seeing with the Hearts. And it's certainly, I've heard it said before, kind of, you know, remade the blueprint on what a club is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to get organized. And hopefully going forward, as we see more expansion teams come into the league, hopefully, you know, they can mimic some of kind of what the Hearts have done. And I'm sure if they call Gabe and the group over at the Hearts, they'd be more than willing to share anything with them on how they've done what they've done.
Mitchell, what are your thoughts on the game last night? You know, we usually, when we do these post-match shows, we talk about where we were before the game, and I know you were at the zoo for a little while.
Yeah.
And then not too much going on at the zoo pregame, though. It was pretty awesome afterwards.
It was pretty slow pregame. We had Some friends come in from Philadelphia and from LA. The USL Show was in town. And it was a Friday, a rare Friday game in Portland. So it was just a few of us at the Zoo pregame. Got over to Fitzy 4:30 to start setting up. And Donald wasn't around for this one, so I was single parenting at Fitzy last night.
I heard he had a family event, and I was like, "This is family.
this is his family away from home." We started setting up, and I'm glad that the cloud cover started rolling in early, and that little 30-second rainstorm came in to cut the humidity, because it turned into a perfect night. Very, very quickly.
It was beautiful. The sunset turned out to be gorgeous. It was a perfect Maine summer night.
Yeah, but going into it, I pretty much nailed the lineup. I thought we were going to see Azad coming into this one, rehabbing off an injury just to get him back up to speed.
Yep.
And I thought we were going to see Sega as well. I was kind of shocked to see Sean Vinberg in the starting 11.
Sega wasn't on the sheet on the bench either, was he?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So, I mean, other than that, it was a pretty...
We had Evan.
We had Evan back.
Yep.
Very excited to see Evan
get
Southern
minutes.
back. Good to see Shandon get some minutes. Good to see Mo get minutes. All good things in a game where, nothing's on the line, but experience and preparation for the business end of the League One season.
Absolutely. And that first half was, what was your perspective on it, Phil? Actually, because for us, it was probably our slowest first half, and we know we had some subs, and the chemistry, though, we've started to get used to some really good chemistry. We've been seeing the same starting 11 now for 2-3 games for the first time in the season, and it was interesting for us as fans, I think, to see not a lot of chemistry for the first 45.
Yeah, I think it was kind of defined by both teams, like heavily rotating, and it was more or less like what I expected in terms of that little bit of sloppiness that you wouldn't expect to see. Like, there were a handful of times where when Hearts was getting forward, two players would make a run, the pass would come into a space that neither of them were going into, and it was just sort of that, like, okay, like, these guys aren't able to anticipate like the run that this player is going to make, because there isn't that sort of established chemistry and they haven't played a bunch of games together. And I think, obviously, like, spoiler alert or whatever, but the chemistry sort of immediately came, like, with subs in the second half.
Yep.
And I think for Pittsburgh, it became kind of clear too that, like, they approached this match purely from a place of, we want to rotate. We have a plan around, like, the minutes that guys are going to play, and the game state basically isn't going to alter the plan regardless. Like, there was no, Bob Lilly was just going to do what Bob Lilly does, and he was going to stick to the plan. And I don't think it really moved them either way, like, as the first half progressed. I think the thing that impressed me is Hearts did have a couple of moments where I was kind of like, this could get ugly, because there were a couple of really dangerous moments early on where they kind of had to do some last-ditch defending. But ultimately, like, some of that, you're going to have to weather that against a championship side. And Hearts did what they needed to do to get through that first half, even with the sending off.
And we've tended to concede scrappier goals. Like, for the most part, teams aren't scoring really great team goals against us, so to see, like, Vinberg specifically get his feet sorted in a couple tricky situations and just get the ball out.
Yeah,
we were happy to see that, and he's been a really strong player for us, Sean Vinberg. He's almost arguably should be in our nominations for man of the match every game. He's not, because goal scorers tend to get the and the guys that come in and change games, but he's just been so solid for us at the back. Yeah.
In terms of the lineup stuff, I was lucky enough to go to training on Friday.
Oh, cool.
And I had a little conversation, like, informally with Bobby, and he was very gracious to be able to, like, chat with me for a little bit.
He's the best. He's the best.
It looks like Azad is maybe still a little bit away from, like, he was training on his own, wasn't, like, really participating in full, like, training yet. So, but obviously he was still dressed. He was still, like, participating in some solo stuff, but he wasn't participating in, like, team training yet. So he's probably close, but not quite. And then Sega, they were doing some additional sort of conditioning stuff with him, because I think Bobby may have even said that, like, he played, and like maybe it was too early, like just in terms of his fitness and things. But what a player that you guys have, and what an opportunity for him to kind of reestablish his career with Hearts.
Even with that short stint that he was on the field, while it was scary, it was up and down, he made a couple of really like tactical challenges. He had a clearance, was moving the ball pretty well. I agree. I think he just needs a little bit more time to get back, but just having these players coming back to fitness at the right time as we're getting into a home heavy schedule on the back end of this season. I think Ollie was right in his interview with you guys last night that there isn't a ceiling on this team. We're just getting started. This is the ground level.
Ollie's always right.
It is his name.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. But they are finding confidence. We were just talking on the last time we did a podcast last week, or maybe not even that long ago, but like you can tell these players are really finding confidence. And if they can, I personally feel, if they can keep that up, they have a good chance of getting not only a playoff spot, but a home game, finishing in that top 4. And I think that's got to be the aim now, because we're feeling really confident lately.
Yeah, I would say, they have this mental health break, which now is like a thing in USL that people are talking about. They're like mentioning it openly, but they're going into this mental health break ahead of the Knoxville game. And you guys played a really away heavy first part of the season.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there is that aspect too, where it's like, it was you guys finding your feet as an expansion side, for all these players, like getting to know each other, getting some chemistry like you were talking about. And now that's starting to click. And you get to play a bunch of games at home, which is
it's
obviously
a good situation.
I'd say you're well positioned, and obviously some of the confidence from last night carrying into that stretch is hopefully gonna carry you guys up the table a bit. But I think anything can happen in League One. It's sort of League One and the USL Championship Western Conference feel a little bit similar in that, Ollie said it last night too, where you win a couple of games in a row and all of a sudden you're like in second place, it could change really dramatically, really quickly. And all it takes is a couple of good results to be right in the hunt for those like home advantage playoff spots.
I'm still getting used to all the rules. Like last night, technically we got 2 points because we won a penalty shootout. When I first read that, I said, that is the most American riff on sports I've ever heard in my life. Like, why do we have to change everything?
That's some Jaeger Cup stuff. I'm getting used to it too, because it was a League One thing only last year, and they just added the championship teams in this year. And so I was still acquainting myself with everything. Plus, like El Paso, who I follow most closely, basically binned off that competition immediately because they had a penalty shootout against Texoma, and it was like, okay, this isn't our competition, we're not really going to participate. So they are going to play a similarly meaningless match tonight in the Jaeger Cup. But yeah, they the 2 points, 3 points, whatever it is, it was fun last night.
Well, the rules make for really interesting situations. Like I was reading, like, do we have a chance at being a wild card, right? And I even asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT like came up with all these different scenarios. It's like, if a Chattanooga player stubs his toe on Thursday, you might be a wild card. It was like, it was insane.
Yeah.
So obviously not going to happen.
A lot of permutations.
Sean, something happened pretty interesting in that first half that changed the game. I don't remember at what minute, but Cash, our
29th.
keeper, 29th minute. Thank you, Mitchell. He sees red.
Yeah. So I mean, I was looking at it on the replay. I was at the house there last night, not at the stadium watching the match. So it's one of those deals where Cash comes out of the box and looking to try to kind of basically kick the ball away, right? And He just kind of got in the way of the player cutting in, trying to get at the ball, and collided in with the player. And what the referee saw was basically, a goalkeeper playing the man and not playing the ball outside of his box. And I think that's kind of where the red came from. I would have really liked to seen the ref kind of recognize where we are in the match, where we are in the game, and 0-0. Maybe show him a little bit of grace and give him a yellow and maybe a stern talking to.
I think that would have been fair. All I could think of was he considered him the last man back as well. Did you get a decent? I haven't seen the broadcast, but from our line I couldn't tell. But it didn't look like he was obviously the last
There were
man back.
defenders
around.
there were defenders in the area,
Yeah.
like parallel with the keeper, maybe a step or step and a half in behind Cash that certainly could have come in and challenged for the ball. So that's why I kind of go with, I would prefer, even if it's not one of our keepers, in a situation like that, for a ref to come in, yellow card, stern talking to, and move on with the match.
It's harsh.
Yeah, I think that was a little harsh.
I think
All your experience from around the various leagues.
right. I'll say Cash was rash, to use a little rhyme there, but I think I do think it was. The decision making was tough from Cash, and I think it puts the ref in a tough spot, because when the keeper makes a challenge like that, the idea of the denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity is if Cash makes a play and doesn't get the ball, then the player has an open net, and I think that's kind of what the ref is thinking, is even with covering defenders, I think it might have been Jackson who was up there, who got challenged, and Jackson probably has a shot and a decent look. So I think that's probably where the ref's mind goes. I tend to agree in terms of if there's covering defenders in the area, I'd prefer to see yellow. And as a neutral, I'm let me see 11v11. The result doesn't even technically matter. Let me just see 11v11.
Yeah.
And I can see why the ref showed red, but I do think, harsh in the sense that it did. I felt worried about the occasion at that point, where I was is this just going to neutralize the game completely and turn it into
a very fair expectation? Yeah.
Which it luckily did not.
No, it did not. Did it, Mitchell?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. I think it was a red. I think it's posture. I agree with Phil. It was a little bit of rash. He was high up instead of going toward the ball low. I think he was just a little late to it. Didn't really have much of an option, and kind of forced the official's hand. It's unfortunate, but the craziest thing happened. Bob Lilly sat back.
Bob is an enigma. He's fascinating to watch in these games too, because he's at once highly irritated about everything that's going on and completely calm. And I don't really understand where the line is necessarily with Bob. He has his methods, and he's been very successful over a long career. And I think we talked about it last night, that I think we were collectively surprised, as neutrals, that Pittsburgh didn't kind of put their foot on the gas more when you guys went down to 10.
Yeah,
they really kind of stuck to they just kind of treated it as if it didn't happen, which was quite strange. Essentially their best chance to score between the red card and their actual first goal was the free kick right after the red card. And then they kind of didn't offer a whole lot in terms of threat after that, which was really surprising.
It almost felt like it kicked us into gear, and we have these moments at home where we'll come out flat. We won't move the ball well. We won't see the field. We'll kind of fold to the pressure and the noise a little bit, and I think a lot of the guys are now getting more comfortable with it. It's, like Ollie was saying, it's not an easy place to walk out into, even if it's your field, your home fans. It's loud, and we weren't seeing the field at all. Cash goes off. Unfortunate for Mickey to get subbed off as well.
I was sad to see Mickey go.
Very
he needs
bummed for
minutes.
him.
He needs minutes. So,
And I saw Bobby just shrug and rub his head, pat on the butt, back to the bench. But it kicked us in the ass, and we started playing. We started moving the ball well and creating chances and seeing the game and controlling things. And that's all we need to get going and get some momentum.
They talked in training on Friday about make Pittsburgh be perfect to play through you. And I think what was really interesting is that wasn't necessarily happening 11v11, and then it definitely did. When you guys were down to 10,
we just had to.
Yeah. And I think the thing that struck me was maybe the opportunism and guys just really thinking about, okay, when is my opportunity to press? When do I need to drop back? When do I need to, and maybe being down to 10 just like activated that a little bit more in terms of them actively thinking through, rather than being like, okay, I've got this guy over to my left, I've got this guy to my right, like, and I'm just going to manage through it. They were really, really like thinking through and cautious about like when they were picking their spots, and they pretty much picked right, which no
there we
pun
go
intended.
again. Great last name, Ollie. You know, I was sitting there thinking, we just didn't have an outlet moving forward, and we were getting peg back. We obviously weren't going to have a great deal of possession, and especially after we go a man down. But I kept thinking, you know, if we get an outlet, if we get Titus, if we get Ollie on there, not necessarily together. I didn't expect them to come on at the exact same time.
Sure.
Because despite last night, it's not like the two of them have had crazy chemistry.
No.
They did last night, but
Yeah.
that's not something we've really seen.
No.
Bits and pieces. So,
Yeah.
but I expected that. And you look at their goals, their counterattacking goals kind of came from that. It wasn't necessarily a pass to Ollie, and Ollie still got on the end of a clearance. It was more of a flowing move through Titus, the second goal. But unbelievable finishes. You know, the Hearts have been they've been creating a ton of chances, which we've all made us feel really good about our starts of the season, even if we're not necessarily as high in the table as we want to be. But we only had 3 shots yesterday, scored 2 goals. So we got that. That's a difference. Pittsburgh had 15 shots, I think, right? So, and it's about being clinical. Very easy to say, but as long as we can keep that alive, we're feeling pretty confident. I'm glad. You should just come to all the games. It may have been you guys. You know, like, honestly, please come.
Well, I hope that's not the case, unless if you guys know anyone that's hiring around here, I fell in love.
That
so.
guy on the super yacht behind you.
There you
Yeah.
go.
There you go.
He's got the money.
guys
Yeah,
got his-
I think so.
You guys got his number? Or, yeah, I think the mood in the place changed when Ollie came on. I think you could feel
You
there's
guys
just
picked
like
up on that.
there's
Yeah.
definitely just a relationship between the crowd and that player, like, and I think you guys have forged that bond pretty quickly. Obviously, it doesn't hurt if a guy scores a hat trick at home, and that sort of
An incredible hat trick.
starts that off pretty well. But I think the energy changed, and specifically they had that outlet like you were talking about, and I think the Ollie's decision making is something that really struck me last night, because for the first goal, I thought Riverhounds actually had it covered. Like I think it was Griffin
ball.
like tracking back, and I was like, oh, he ran him down a blind alley. He's fine.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, this felt dangerous, but it's actually not. And then Ollie just is able to shift back inside so quickly and find that pass to Titus that was like a great spot. I didn't even know Titus was up there with him. I was down at field level, so I didn't see that pass, and he did. And that is the difference, I think, at this, with a player like him who is such a difference maker, where he's able to make those opportunities and make sure that the perceived threat of like, oh, this is a potentially dangerous counterattack turns into something actually dangerous.
I have to admit, this was the 5th goal I've missed this season while being in the porta potty. As soon as the door closed behind me, the zoo popped.
Well, we found your
Poor
new.
Mitchell.
That's
Really? Again? This happened?
Again.
I didn't realize.
That's your
Again.
that's where your season ticket is good for
I
now.
think you need to sit in that urinal from now on, buddy.
It's tough.
But when I watched it back, I agree. Like it was a 3-on-1. It was a 3-on-1. I didn't see Titus. Ollie, I just see carrying the ball through the midfield. I thought he was going to dribble it to the edge of the box and shoot.
Yep.
And
Which I don't think people would have blamed him for even.
you see this line of defenders kind of taking every possible angle out, and that ball that Ollie plays through is so perfect.
Yeah.
So perfect, because if he plays it any harder through that, it's the goalkeepers.
Yeah.
If he plays it any softer, it goes to the left back tracking. So, I mean, beautifully weighted ball, beautiful vision on it, and then the favors returned not long after. So, can't talk highly enough about how gorgeous that first goal was.
You can't give Ollie enough credit. I mean, when you watch it back too, you have to say when he first gets the ball and he turns and he starts dribbling at an angle, he's manipulating defenders, right? And he cuts back onto that right foot and sees the pass right away. And that's when Titus, it's almost, I don't know if they make eye contact. It's hard to tell from that angle, but like they're on the same page, but where he's dribbling, when he collects that ball, he's manipulating defenders. So That's what you want to see. And to be fair, I'm not sure which piece is missing a lot of the time for Ollie, whether it's the technique to pull off what he sees or whether he doesn't always see it consistently, because I think it's just sometimes. I think he's a very technical player and he has a technique, but his consistency is what we're seeing get better, right? He hasn't done that every game, but I think he has the skill to do that every game. So I think it's about confidence with him, and the same goes for Titus. So once again, to get back to confidence, though, those two are confident right now, and that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, and then being confident in each other is another
100%.
big part of it, and I think you guys talked about that chemistry forming, and I think that partnership is really starting to blossom into something special. And Ollie trusts Titus in that moment, because obviously if he doesn't, he's taking the shot on and just like going for it, because he's not gonna bother if he doesn't think that Titus can do anything. And similar with the second goal, where he chooses a similar pass for the second, but Titus also trusts Ollie to make that run to the top of the box and receive the layoff. So I think in both cases it shows like that partnership burgeoning is a really strong thing. And Ollie talked about that last night as well, like them having a bit of like this run of games where they've been able to build a little bit stronger partnership. And I think that's the sort of stuff that you can continue to see as you guys, like, if you guys can like stay healthy and all that stuff down the stretch, like, then those sorts of things are going to start to become more apparent too.
And the other thing that we should certainly talk about on both of those goals, right, is the finishing. So we talk a lot about the Hearts matches. One of the things that we're always missing, right? All those opportunities, right? But we're missing the finish, right? So, if you look back on the Titus Washington goal, that was a one-touch finish. He didn't look to manipulate the ball when it came into him. The ball came into his feet, and the first strike was putting it in the back of the net. I'd have to go back and look at Ollie. Ollie might have taken one touch to it, but
on his finish, no, he hits it.
It was
first
time.
Okay, it's a tough first time. Finish.
I was sitting here trying to think. I'm like, he might have had one touch, but
it's that typical wrap.
I wanted to say it was a one touch finish, right?
Yep,
okay,
so
two one touch finishes, right? So that needs to be understood, and for what we just saw last night, that is definitely a step in the right direction. When for so long we've been talking about lack of finishing, and we got two one-touch finishes, and two goals that result from it.
Or not even lack of finishing; it's passing around the box. It's the work it into a dangerous area, get shut down, play it back out, and not taking a chance when that window opens. So just being a little bit quicker to pull the trigger.
Yep.
is going to bode well for us if we're still able to get 7, 10, 12 chances a night.
Those were quick counterattacks, and speed of play makes a difference. And I was watching, I had to go up to the fence each time and peek around Dana and to see, because of that angle, you can't actually see the sideline. So sometimes is the ball out or is it still in the play? And I didn't expect the Titus finish first time. Plus, I couldn't tell how good of a through ball it was. And from that angle, I'm also trying to see if the linesman's going to put, he was way onside looking back. But I thought most strikers and our strikers, Liati and Titus, in the past would have taken another touch. Maybe try to dribble around the keeper, maybe try to settle it and slot it. So the fact that he just knocked the shit out of it into the roof of the net first time
was a nice
made me a happy boy.
Yeah.
And and watching the speed of play, because the speed of play, you really get a sense for it live. Yeah. Broadcast always, sometimes it feels faster, sometimes it slows down. I've watched the game for how many years, and I still can't always figure out why it feels faster or slower at certain times. But it felt lightning fast for Ollie's goal. And the ball came in. And on TV, it kind of looks like a soft layoff from Titus. It didn't feel that way live. And Ollie, once again, smacks it. And it just, we're living for those moments at Fort Fitzy. It was just awesome. I'm glad you were there.
I was lucky enough, too. I was on the sideline across from the zoo a couple of minutes before the goal, and I was there with Ryan from the show, and I was like I'm gonna go over to that side and just like hope that something happens. And sure enough, I was right underneath the zoo like when the goal went in, and
when he's
got a bunch of video, and
when Mitchell was in the bathroom.
So because I'm typically I feel like I don't have that luck, so it turns out your luck overrides mine, I guess. But it was just like being around for those moments too, and just the noise in the place, and obviously the response and sort of I think the collective sort of shock of like, hey, we took the lead, down to 10
Right.
against the USL Championship side. Like there was a definite buzz and just the outpouring of energy from the supporters. And obviously it's still Pittsburgh and they're still tough, and like it was two sort of like immediate fight backs in both goals
Yeah.
the wind gets kind of taken out of your sails, I guess. The first goal, Jackson's goal, it's a good finish.
Oh, it's a great finish. It's a
on
great
the
finish.
spin. Obviously, you kind of talked
But it's
about
one of
scrappy.
those scrambles
I was
again.
gonna say you said scrappy goals, and
Same thing.
It kind of
finish, but
kind of let the ball hang around the box for too long.
yes,
Yeah. And then the penalty.
That's soft, man.
Okay, so that in real time, because I was back up in the box by the time the penalty happened, and so I had more of the like sort of camera view of it, and I thought in real time that it looked soft. Like I thought it was easier for the ref to wave play on,
and we were right
We
there.
were right
We
in
were
front
right
of it.
there, and
Right.
our angle's different than the ref. And
Right.
The ref has Mohammed, who got the call on him.
Yeah.
He's between
Yeah.
the player and the ref, so I can see angles mean everything.
Yeah.
But the player's going down as soon as he goes around him.
It's
You
like
could argue there's some
The
intent there,
second the
buddy.
hand hits
Yeah.
the shoulder,
He's already
gone.
going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was Etu, I think, on
Yeah.
the left there. Who, I mean,
Hey, no, that's fair play. It's part of the game. But
quick, strong player, tough on the dribble, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I do think ultimately,
he's going by him.
I thought it was an easy, or a quite soft penalty decision. I thought it would have been easier actually for Etu to stay on his feet and try to make a.
That's
a
why
play,
he
but,
played for that.
Yeah.
But he was going by him.
Yeah.
And it may very well have ended up in a goal regardless for the soft pen, in my opinion. So let me ask you this. Your perspective on the crowd's performance, especially, I think we pride ourselves on we concede immediately behind the team. I mean, and try to build it right back up as if we scored ourselves. Maybe not quite to that level, but certainly not allowing for a drop.
Yeah, I think in general the crowd impressed me in terms of everyone's obviously there to see the game, which I know sounds stupid. But
No, I know exactly what
in
you
American
mean.
sports, it's not a given that everyone is there to watch the sport.
Nope.
And I think the fact that basically everybody in there is kind of locked into what's going on, that to me added to what you're talking about in terms of like the rebound ability of a crowd and not getting sort of down on what's happening. And I think what the moment that kind of stuck out to me, aside from big crowd responses to obviously like a couple of subs when Wada came in, when Ali came in, like that, those were like huge responses where I was like, no subs are getting applauded like this, like anywhere. I don't care who it is. And then, but the thing that really stuck out to me was there was a goal kick given during stoppage time with maybe like, there's like a couple of minutes left or something like that. And the whole crowd sort of like rose and just like was applauding the fact that like it was probably gonna and kind of trying to get the guys over the line of like, hey, we're in the 95th plus minute, whatever. And Morse is like just getting ready to take a goal kick, and like everybody in the crowd is up on their feet and just cheering the team. Like there was no specific song or specific thing. It was just like you could feel that they were just like behind them, and it was like we're sending them into penalties like with this energy and all that sort of stuff. I think like that is a level of maybe nuance that like most American sports crowds just don't really have.
Yeah.
And that was something that stuck out to me in terms of you guys getting behind the team and it never feeling sort of negative in terms of like, oh, what are you guys doing, you bums, whatever. It just always felt very very supportive throughout. Yeah.
I honestly think if anybody got negative, we'd be on them. I can't even imagine.
Did you
it
hear that,
happening.
Sean?
What do you mean?
Hey, I don't mean
I mean verbally on our own players. Like
Sure,
we'd
sure.
be on them. It just
So-
I think if we're quiet about honest analysis, then we're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine line. Like you definitely don't want to not hold people accountable or anything like that.
No.
But I do think there's a fine line between the sort of
If you stop talking,
honesty and then like toxicity, I guess.
even Henry last night, we're all being very quiet when we're taking penalties.
Yeah.
Because, that's the vibe. And then as loud as we can be.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a great atmosphere.
Definitely felt that, yeah.
Henry at one point, come on, Blue! Just harassing their goalkeeper. You can hear him because he's the only guy screaming in the stadium. And everybody's like, shut up. So We're learning. Everybody's learning. It's really
Yeah.
fun. But
Yeah.
like you said, there's already some nuance to it. There's enough people in this stadium that obviously watch the sport and are familiar with the sport. And
Yeah.
we're very lucky to have that. That's
Yeah.
something that we were saying, management can do everything right. And I think they really have. It's like a cooking analogy to me. You have to have the right ingredients.
Sure.
We also happen to have, I think, the best chefs in the team itself. But beyond that, I feel like those two things, you can still do everything right. But I don't know why I'm doing a cooking analogy. But even beyond that, not only do you need the right ingredients, some of those ingredients need to be from your organic garden that have been growing for a while, right? So it just all is coming together here.
Yeah.
Sean
Really backed himself into a corner
I
with
really
this
did.
cooking.
So we got organic ingredients. We got some store-bought ingredients. We got a great chef. It's just like,
Yeah.
Charles, how do you feel about adding some carbs?
oh, I'm all about carbs.
Okay.
You got to burn through. You need carbs to run.
Making
yeah.
sure. All right.
Yeah.
As long as it's gluten free.
So like, do I have a question here? I don't even know. But how do you compare this to like the championship? Because I'm starting to learn comparing it to USL 1. But you watch a lot more of the championship than
Yeah.
I do. I don't want to speak for these two, but what's that feel like in Win the Hearts?
So I would say in terms of match day experience, this is like on par with anything out there. I would say I live near Detroit now, and so I've been to a lot of Detroit City games, and they are sort of held up as a gold standard in the championship of how a club is run, how the fans interact with a match day experience, all that sort of stuff. And I would put you guys like right in that category in terms of like what you cultivate on match day is right up there. And like I said on the show last night, it's not a knock to Detroit. That is everybody, rising tide raises all boats and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that is on par with like the best like match day experiences I've seen in the championship. And I think what stuck out to me, and this is going to sound a little technical and weird, but the amount of staff that you guys have for match day, event staff, people just in the front office, like doing like good stuff. There are a lot of organizations, and we actually talked to Kevin about this yesterday in an interview that'll come out at some point. I don't know, but we were talking to him, and he was talking about the fact that there are so many teams that their advice starting out is, hey, you got to run like on a shoestring and the margins are super fine. So like you got to just like have the minimal amount of people to do the maximum amount of stuff. And it's sort of this like almost like a private equity mindset, you know? And he basically was like, we need to be adequately staffed like across the organization, because if you don't cultivate like a good experience for the people who work for the club and have to like do all this stuff, then you're gonna have like a negative energy, like for like no one's gonna have positive feelings about working there, right? Even, as much as you say like we're a family and all this sort of stuff, like it doesn't help if it sucks every day. And like match day's a nightmare and all that sort of stuff. So I think the fact that they're approaching it from a point of like, no, we need to like adequately staff the place, pay people like what they're worth. I mean, we were talking to different people. You guys have a photographer who worked at New Mexico. You have like this is not like Kevin came from Atlanta United and DraftKings and everything. Like these are like people who have options, right, in terms of what they can be doing, and you guys are sort of cultivating, and the ownership specifically is like approaching it from a place of, we want the best people. We want this to be like the best run organization in the league. And that feeds into you guys having like a great match day experience and the players feeling, getting goosebumps walking out on the pitch and all that sort of stuff. It all comes from like these things that we're talking about in terms of like, you can't just say you want to cultivate a good experience. Like you got to put your money where your mouth is and staff the place, bring in the right people, emphasize the culture, all that sort of stuff. Like it, and it has to go through the organization. It can't just be PR.
So what you're saying is best in America is what you're saying.
I think like you said with the ingredients, I think you guys have a really unique mix, and I think it's something that's unique to Portland based on what I've learned in my brief time here. There is a lot of these concepts about like Mainers and stuff like that. It's a vocabulary that like even the people from outside have adopted, I guess. Like talking to Bobby, he was talking about all of the stuff that Gabe has done in terms of like the futsal nonprofits and like all these other like things throughout Portland where you guys are sort of having an impact outside of just like, hey, we made a soccer club and you should thank us for that. And so I think that the fact that everybody gets sort of adopted quickly, and I've just felt that in Portland, like with new Mainers and all of that stuff, just like the welcoming of basically everybody, that to me like shines through too, and it is sort of this uniquely Maine experience, I guess, in that way. So as much as I would love to say, like, you know, we talk about the blueprint and all of that stuff, and I think there is certainly stuff that is like repeatable that Hearts has done in terms of motivation of the ownership group and finding the right people and all that sort of stuff, getting the right people involved that actually care about the local community or the, you know, the broader community, and not just importing an owner from somewhere to start a team somewhere. But there is some stuff here that is like unique to you guys that I think really support this, like what this has become, which is, you know, I really hate to come on your guys' show and just gas you up the whole time. I'd love to tell you that it sucked or whatever, and you know, be deprecating in some way, but
then you'd be a real Mainer at that point.
I was gonna say,
Well,
that's good, Mitchell.
Certainly open to any criticism that you can see. I certainly am, anyways.
No, I would say, I mean, just in terms of like our reception and stuff and the way we got treated, like we're 3 guys from a podcast, like
A great podcast.
So are
And
we.
I
Don't sell yourself short.
and I appreciate that. And like to sort of get the reception and to understand too that, I mean, like we were very lucky to be at that match because there are a lot of people who want tickets to that match that aren't able to go. Like that is so that felt, you know, we felt very privileged from that way. And I think, you know, at times I just want to make sure, and what I'm feeling right now is like, the vibes are very, very good, and you got to make sure that it sticks, right? Like that's it can't just be like the flash in the pan of like, oh, it was awesome at first and now it stinks. And so I think like the challenge now is just to make sure that it always feels like this. Because I can speak from experience that like I had I have awesome memories of season 1 with El Paso Locomotive. And the vibes around that club are not very good. Like, and all it took was a couple of like losing seasons, some weird manager hires, whatever. And now all of a sudden it's like you kind of get distance from your mission and stuff, where it's like everybody sets out with good intention. And then maybe it gets a little bit, you know, financial stuff plays a part, personalities play a part, all that sort of stuff. So
Real world.
the thing now is just to try to keep it this special, you know, as long as you can.
And I think that just kind of speaks to, you know, how it can be done and done the right way. Like this is not an overnight project like some of the other expansion teams we've seen come and go. This is a well thought out 6-year process, getting ingrained in the community before you even had an identity and helping mold that identity with the people that make up that community. It is so repeatable. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of boots on the ground. It's a lot of hard conversations, and it's a lot of letting, you know, your ideas go. Don't die on a hill if it's not something that it backs a community. And I think the supporter group here, the Dirigo Union, and the club are all working towards building something that stands the test of time. We understand the importance of the game of soccer. We're a community that's been wanting this for a very long time, and New England sports fans aren't people that really die or kill off a favorite team. They'll die for their clubs. We expect greatness, and I think the foundation that Gabe, Kevin, Hannah, everybody in the game day operation staff, the foundation that we're building is a very strong one, and this club's going to be around a lot longer than we are. Is my 2 cents on it. Yeah,
no, I certainly agree. And I think, you know, if I wouldn't necessarily call it criticism, but certainly the challenge is to do just that, right? Is you get out of year one and you go into year two and it stays the same, if not increases, right? In year three and so on and so on. To Phil's point, a lot of clubs look really great in year one, right? And we can only do what we can do. We are where we are, and we just have to keep on going match day to match day and year to year and just keep proving it, right? And that's all we can really do right now. So there certainly are some people out there that are going, Hearts, year one. Yeah,
That's fair.
Give it a little bit. The shine's going to come off the Hearts. You just don't worry about it. This is all going to just start dying down.
Just you wait.
Yeah, and that's all we can do, right? Is say, all right, we're just going to show you match by match until
you can only play what's in front of you.
Until you've got 2 years ticking by, 3 years ticking by. We hit 5 years. We get into pro rel. We see what that looks like, and go. We're just doing our thing.
25,000 stadium on the ocean, top of the USL Premier League. That's got to be the aim, and it's just cool to even be able to dream like that.
Yeah,
I think it's turning us all into dreamers through believers. We've seen it, and we just gotta want to keep making it better.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree 100%. And like I said, well, next 2 or 3 years when that starts coming into play, and we'll see what all that looks like. I think it'll certainly help certain clubs that have a good community and a good atmosphere, help hold on to some players, knowing that it's only a year away and you can move up.
I hope so. I'm not ready, as you know, we talked. I'm not ready to say goodbye to anybody.
No.
So I'm in big trouble.
Yeah.
I'll be happy for them. They can take their career to new places and achieve what they want to achieve. But I sure would love for them to be able to do it in a blue and green jersey.
No Portland, no party.
No Portland, no party.
We're gonna have to have some sort of club or something for fans to help get over players departing.
Support group.
Some support groups or something.
Some
special therapy we can bring online or something. We're gonna have to help some supporters.
That's actually a really good idea. We gotta follow through.
He goes, "I'm number one in line, please."
I'm glad that you guys are thinking about that, because that is something that hits harder than you think it's going to. Yeah.
He's like, I can see the freight train coming down the tracks.
Right. Well, when we notice that Titus is performing really well, there's some teams that are noticing Titus is performing really well.
There are teams.
And we've already heard.
Bobby's already fielded phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
It's reality.
Yep. So get your checkbook out, Mitchell.
I just bought a new car, right? I have nothing.
Start driving Titus to games then. Dude, come on, get involved. So we end up winning the game.
We did.
Back to the game. That's 2 penalty shootouts now. A big difference in vibe between the penalty shootout and Lewiston, where it meant something. We wanted to get through to the next round.
There was no confusion on which end the penalties were going to be taken on.
Jeez.
The ref, that's true. Yeah, we weren't scrambling. That's the one night I think the $3 Dewey's seats are just the best place to be.
Yeah, a little bit jealous of them.
Yeah, to be right behind the goal. I don't know if you knew this, but we all in the Lewiston game. First of all, they couldn't decide which side of the field, and then we made our way over, and the referee told us to go away, get away, get out from behind the net.
He didn't tell us.
Actually,
he told Bobby Murphy to walk down and make us move.
Bobby's like, you guys got to. We did.
Bobby Murphy already on a yellow card, and he even said as much. I believe he said, "Guys, come on, already on a yellow card. Can you please try to divide behind?"
Feet, and then as soon as Bobby left, we all were just right back behind the net, and the vibes were amazing. But last night, though, we touched on it. Pretty amazing atmosphere during the PKs.
Yeah. I think I posted a couple of videos. The first was during the first Pittsburgh penalty, where I was like, it's safe to say this is a tough place to take PKs as an opposing player, because it was loud. You could barely hear yourself think down there. We were just standing on the track right in front of the zoo, deafening. And then I think the thing that impressed me too, apart from the atmosphere, was just how the players handled the PKs, because again, wasn't technically important, but it was definitely important to them, and they wanted the win.
Both teams wanted that win by the end of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think keeping your cool, like obviously guy like Ali, it's kind of easy where had your impact in the game, contributed to both goals, then you have to stand up and take a PK. Not the easiest thing to do. Cold as ice, Wada cold as ice, and then Langwa to win it, I think was just a cool touch.
Dude, Wada's penalty.
Yeah.
Oh my! I love that guy.
I will say too, in terms of, I've seen some brutal penalty shootouts in USL, like where neither team wants to win. Like they're just some of the penalties are just awful.
That's a
right?
shame.
Like
That's a shame.
just
5 feet over the crossbar.
yeah, like or just straight at the keeper.
Yeah.
Like there's been some rough ones, and I will say the quality of the penalties last night from both teams was actually
solid.
really high.
Yeah, it was.
I think there was a lot of sending the keeper the wrong way, putting it right in the corner, roofing it. Like there was basically all types, and it was just one good save from Morse that ends up being the difference. I was just impressed with how everybody approached it, and ultimately after the winner, that was quite a scene to behold, I would say.
I didn't realize how loud we were until the Detroit game. Because when you're in the section, it actually isn't that loud,
Right?
Which is like a great. It's a weird experience walking out of the section and down in front of it onto the track, because it just it feels like it goes up 50 decibels, just 10 feet in front of where you were just standing. And last night going down Up the Hearts, the Knack Factory documentary, got a video of me dancing and singing along, waiting for Hunter to come get the man of the match buoy.
Yeah, that was a good video. I saw that.
And it was the noise is just so beautiful in Fitzpatrick. So grateful.
What was the shot? Somebody's Apple Watch. It's a great shot. Apple Watch in the foreground with the decibel warning, and he's on the other side of the stadium.
Yeah,
sure.
The zoo's in the background. I mean, it's you forget how loud it's loud.
We saw people walking in with hearing protection and stuff for like kids and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, there's not many stadiums in USL where you need that. Like, just to be honest, like there's not a lot of places where you would actually be concerned about the noise level.
A lot of leg room.
Yeah.
A lot of leg room at some of these places.
Yep. And that's it's not a knock on those teams. Like some of them are in weird situations, and like it is impressive when you're seeing people like, hey, I need to make sure my kid doesn't like lose their hearing because it's going to be loud.
I'm very
in here.
happy to see it. I'm concerned when I don't see it, when I see the kids come by and they're hanging out for a little too long, because it's
a lot
loud.
of quick covering of the ears as they walk by the drums. But
yeah,
we've been transparent since day one. What we as the supporters are trying to bring to Fitzy. There's going to be flags. There's going to be smoke. There's going to be drums. And every game, it seems like we get a new band member. I think we just added a clarinet. Not this past game, but the game before, and we have a bagpipe that wasn't there last night.
That's the only bummer about last night, is we didn't have our bagpipe
or our trumpets, for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. The trumpets weren't there.
So it's always evolving. It's always a little bit different, and it's something that we wish for every other club in the USL pyramid to have. It's good for the game to have healthy competition. It's good for the league to see other teams succeeding.
Yep.
And we welcome anybody, any traveling fans, with open arms. You're welcome to come pregame and postgame with us. But in that 90 plus, all bets are off. It's war, mortal enemies. Hope you don't make it home on time.
I will say too, maybe the most unique tradition that I saw from you guys. I don't know that there's many teams that start before the game with a Civil War folk ballad.
You like that?
That was pretty awesome. As a history guy and
old part of the country.
I was like, I didn't know that the 20th Maine was like a thing people talked about, but I guess in Maine, obviously, that's it's a big deal. But
pretty big deal.
I think so. I mean, there's the proof, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be sung before a game.
Yeah.
So.
No, that was a cool moment, I think, and then to see it, you guys have people waving the 20th Maine flag in the section and everything. Yep. It's just a very a very unique setup you guys.
Did you see the first tifo we did? Yeah, our first home game.
I can't say that.
So I mean, just the fact that it was a tifo is why I bring it up, because it was so well done.
Right.
But it was when you get into Maine over the bridge in New Hampshire, there's that "Welcome to Maine" sign.
Right.
And then there's the other sign that's blue, and so it's a riff on that. It's a welcome to Maine, the way soccer should be, as opposed to the way life should be.
Right.
And I was impressed with how we nailed the blue. It's the exact same blue. I feel like it's actually
didn't smell too great. So
no,
I'm
it didn't smell great.
But, hoping the next one's a little.
Yeah, we got some more
tifos
lined up.
That'll be No, that'll be fun. And that sort of stuff, I think, is just like adds to the. We talked about a little bit last night on the show, like the folklore around clubs is really important to kind of start. And when you've got moments like that where you can talk about the tifo, everybody knows what you're talking about. Ollie Wright's hat trick, everybody knows where they were in the stadium at that game, right?
Point.
And it's just like those sort of moments help build.
In the porta potty. Mitch, you poor guy.
Yeah.
No, that's what's going to make
this
season
it's
special.
it's how, it's those moments that you'll talk about, 4 or 5 years from now where it's like, oh, like,
that's true.
Do you remember when Ollie Wright was here and now he's playing for X, Y, and Z and he's doing, he's doing these big things, whatever. And
it's crazy that he's still playing for the Hearts after all these years.
Yeah. in the USL Premier. And no, that's
he's actually born here.
Was he really?
Yeah, I think
on a boat or on the land. Are you serious?
He's bringing a whole new meaning to New England. just England, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, London, Portland.
Yeah.
Historical significance. Not really much of a difference.
I think it's going to be funny when the Hearts need a goal and everyone's pushing Mitchell down towards the porta potties.
Yeah, that's true. Where's Mitchell? we should just get a porta potty right there on that side of the fence with a one-way window, and he can just sit there.
1-1, 89th minute. Yep. You get your ass in the porta potty.
Get your ass in the porta potty.
Didn't you say you had to take a piss?
We should just get a porta potty on your shirt, and you could be in the porta potty.
Maybe
changes season tickets to like number 3 porta potty or something like that or whatever.
Free up somebody from the waiting list.
There you go.
I'll just go watch it on the GoPro after the game.
How do we close out this? Is there anything you want to say? Like, just thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I think the USL show is fantastic. If you guys don't watch the USL show, please check it out. Phil and his co-hosts, the effort, like he said, there were 3 guys that very humble. And it's a great podcast. And if you want to learn more about the league, and I hear they're only going to be covering Hearts from here on out, so just give them a watch. Check it out.
I've been very open about the fact that I'm for sale.
Obviously,
we were at Oakland last year. I was the biggest Roots stan. No, it was. I think like. One, thank you guys for like all of the welcoming and everything. I think it's been really cool. The time in Portland, it's like I said, it's a super easy city to just like fall in love with. I've been eating my weight in seafood. As someone that resides in the Midwest, like anytime I can see the ocean, someone was like, "Oh, I don't eat oysters from May to August or whatever." I was like, if I can see the water, I'm not asking any questions. Like I'm good.
Smell the water.
I've had sushi in El Paso before. Like I'm not asking any questions if I can see the ocean. Yeah, barbecue sushi. No. So it's just been super welcoming. It's been awesome, and thank you guys for having me on the show and letting me yap. I think what you guys are doing is super special, and the reality here is it'll stay special. Like we talked about, it'll stay special as long as you guys want it to. And if the club feels like the accountability of 5,700 people, whatever, every single game of they need to be good for them, and the players feel that, and the organization feels that, then I think that'll only like stand you in good stead to keep doing this stuff. And yeah, I think I pray that like the benchmark is kind of being set now in terms of this is what's expected of new League One entrants. Not obviously like selling out multiple seasons in advance or something like that, like you guys are like crazy.
2,000 people on the waiting list.
All we need to do is take all 5,700 people to every single game, away game of the season, and be in that far stand,
and then
the camera picks up, and then we can just lift the whole league up. If one team can do it, we can do it.
Yeah,
on tour.
So I think if you guys help lift the standard of the league and the new entrants and sort of make it, this is what we expect of teams in terms of the level of organizational care and thought that they're putting into it, and avoiding some of these sort of false starts that have been some of these League One franchises that are sadly no longer with us. Yeah. I think that is the biggest thing that you guys can do. It's been a pleasure being here, and thank you guys for all the hospitality. And hopefully it won't be too long before I'm back.
How can people find you?
So I am on Blue Sky, I guess now, at Phil Talks Footy. I post sometimes over there. I just kind of lost my luster for those apps after old Twitter died. And then definitely follow the USL Show on whichever social media you prefer, and we go live every single Tuesday. We talk about the entire league, so that is from the championship all the way down to League Two. Like, we talk about stories and news around the entire league. The unfortunate thing is that odds of us talking about your exact team in a specific episode, not always high. And when we get to do stuff like this is obviously like what we love in terms of just getting out and being able to talk to fans who love the club and love the league, and being able to show just what USL is about, which is emphasizing these cities that get classed as, minor league by the big four professional sports. It's like, oh, that's a minor league city. We show that they can be major league, and all it takes is people like you guys and the folks over at Hearts to make it a major league city, and Portland to be a major league city. So yeah, just appreciate the chance, and yeah, follow the USL Show and come listen to us yap for an hour and a half every Tuesday night.
Phil, thank you so much. Can we get
Thank you.
a up the hearts from you into that camera?
Up the hearts.
Up the hearts.